safe and saddened. Natalie made her way back to the safety of her Uncle Francois's home, but during her marathon trek, she kept imagining Gravakus's death. Her energy never flagged, as anger and loss kept pace with her powerful legs. Back with her pack, safe, she thought about the past few months, all ending with Gravakus's sweet, beautiful kiss. With each passing day and no news of Gravakus, his promised return seemed more and more of a dream. She spent days soaked in tears, trying to stave off hopelessness. She couldn't be consoled by her family. She could barely feed. She was adrift in a sea of her own. Gravakus was more than likely already dead, and wouldn't resurrect and heal as she had when she was a child. For all her strength, she was powerless. Leaving her room, she made her way to Uncle Francois's private office. Sitting at his mammoth oak desk, Natalie opened drawers, pulling out his ornate writing utensils. Thick and creamy paper, strangely coarse and silky to the touch, gorgeously marbled calligraphy pens, and blue wax made for an array of monogrammed golden seals. Running her fingertips over the assemblage, her tactile senses stroked every surface as if they were Gravakus's lips, his rich clothes and furniture, and his smooth hands and cheeks. She drew a breath and began writing a love letter to her young self before the bite that made her breed of a werewolf, the bite that saved her blackened body. She penned, "To you, young Natalie, the sweetness of your youth ended violently. The blossoming of your womanhood also ends violently. I want to die, and take you and I to a place devoid of mockery, pain, deceit, and loss. You don't remember, but I do. I remember it all. And though I fought my way through horror after horror under the care and tutelage of my Uncle Francois, I just can't anymore. I am a tired child. You would have loved most of him, except his breed. But he isn't frightening. I wasn't frightened when he came to you and I, bursting out of the flames, scooping up cindered, scorched flesh. He gave us life through a bite and years of gentle care. Over time, I wanted the spark of love so driving and essential to youth. I wanted love beyond my family, and I could not find it in either humans or the breed. Uncle, if you find this letter written to the girl you found so many years ago, I want to thank you. Surely, it would have been wise for Gravakus and I to either stay away from each other or stay with you and Stanley. But we wanted to be free. Also, we knew we were in for severe punishment by the Drakulis, and we didn't want you in danger. You remade my life, and I wasn't going to let anyone take yours. As absurd as it seems, little Natalie and I needed Gravakus for completion. And now that he is dead, it is our time. His kiss gave us what we required for happiness. That is enough for us. Love to the breed. Natalie. She held the letter for a few hours, letting the ink dry and the wax melt. She heard what she thought was Uncle Francois's heavy knock at the stout office door, and she jumped and jolted her hands. Weighted pages lilted to the ground. Francois hated uninvited people in his inner sanctum, but at this point, she had no fear. Francois, Malestaff, humans or whatever, she opened the door, ready for anything or anyone. As she opened the door, there stood nothing she'd ever witnessed. Before her stood a beautiful woman dressed in a tight-fitted one-piece black dress cropped just at her knees. Though stunned, Natalie forced back her tears and clearly stated, "I am quite busy at the moment, so you can visit Uncle Francois, the homeowner, at a later time," Natalie clipped. "Busy with what? You can't hide the residue of your tears." "You cannot hide sorrow," the foreign lady informed. The door shoved open without even a slight push from her right palm. "My name is Ainsley, and I come to share news of Gravakus," she announced with tears forming in her own eyes. "What do you know of Gravakus? Tell me he is alive," Natalie demanded. "Going to keep me at bay, or may I come in?" Ainsley asked politely. Natalie gave way and acknowledged Ainsley by gesturing her inside. Why was this woman crying? Natalie thought to herself. Tears for Gravakus belonged to me. "Please, sit with me as I offer terrible news about your love, Gravakus." And Ainsley breezed her trim black-clad body over to the leather sofa. Natalie went on the offensive. "First, if he is dead, tell me how and why. And second, who the hell are you?" "I am his one and only former love. But feel no jealousy, because my kind all carry a dead heart, so we don't experience emotion like the rest of you or the humans. However, you care for him, and it is my understanding that he truly had feelings for you, something he never had for me. As you know, feelings are not the forte of a Drakulis. I sensed he needed a messenger to you, so I honored him." "Honor. That I understand. So here I am." "If you know and associate with the Drakulis, you must be one too. If you are here to kill me, then I encourage you, because you'll save me the effort. Gravakus defended me, and I ran. I left him, but only because he commanded me with a kiss," Natalie cried. "Natalie, I am not a powerful Drakulis, but instead only a vampire. I did not come here to fight you, another werewolf, or a full pack, but rather to let you know that Gravakus is gone. I am sorry, insofar as he whispered to me to deliver news with his deepest regrets. Again, this is honor, the only thing I can bring to you." Falling to her knees, Natalie clenched her head and pulled at her hair, wailing. Her inclination to transition was so strong, but she refrained. Thoughts raced through a forever lost life of growing old and happy with a lover. Running over to her side, Ainsley squatted down to show Natalie some slight comfort. How do you really know? I need more answers," Natalie pleaded. "Oh, Natalie, it is very simple. I am a tracker. You may not know what that means, but my skills allow me to find random vampires, Draculis varieties like Gravakus and Malstaff, and even to find you and your Uncle Francois. I was there when Gravakus and your kin, Stanley Swanson, remained captive by the Council. In many ways, I am built to be everywhere. Oh, and if you don't already know, if not for Stanley, Gravakus would have died then. But now, Gravakus is dead. Neither you nor Stanley had a chance in the long run. Regardless of any former glory, Gravakus was doomed from the start. Please, leave me. I can't stand anymore. I need to be alone." Before leaving, Ainsley stood up from the couch and observed Natalie. She noticed that Natalie was wearing one of Gravakus's greatest of treasures there on her left ring finger. She recognized it because Ainsley had given it to Gravakus years ago. Its worth was in no way diminished on the finger of a breed. Ainsley wished she could express that she, too, was a slave of sorts. It would confuse Natalie more, so Ainsley squelched the impulse to share and commiserate. Ainsley began waltzing out, soon leaving Natalie alone. She didn't leave the grieving werewolf in peace. Ainsley left the young woman in despair. In her last drifting whispers, Ainsley saturated Uncle Francois's office with this. It was sad, watching Gravakus dragged down to the pier by 4 of his fearsome fellow followers and thrown in the ocean to dissolve. He was pathetic in their hands. I hope in time that you can heal over your loss and learn to control your emotions. I've had to do the same. Gravakus was a great being, such a force and visionary. But he chose the wrong side. Learn to protect yourself, and by all means, don't kill yourself. Stand with your breed and come into your own. Find your power and use it to shield those that you can. Ainsley vanished, and Natalie cried. With so much pain and guilt gushing within her, she gathered her thoughts, determined to be herself, protect her breed, and confirm these truths or lies regarding Gravakus. She rose with purpose. She left the beautiful sheets of her tragic life writ fluttering on the floor, and she let the wax continue to cool. Natalie left Uncle Francois's office and advanced to the kitchen. Looking for anything made of pure silver, she remained unsure about suicide. Her efforts were haphazard and half-hearted, so she sat for a moment and wondered if Francois or Sebastian kept any of her mother's belonging. Maybe she would find deathly silver, or maybe she would find a path of goodness through and beyond her murky vision. Searching every room and every corner of the house, she stumbled upon a locked box. With an effortless pull of a lock from her thumb and pointer finger, Natalie dislodged it to see what was so secretive. Just as she had hoped, there were miscellaneous items with a lot of her late mother's belongings. There, the only pure silver within reach, was her mother's wedding band. Natalie put the ring in a fiery hot pot to melt it down to liquid. As she waited, Natalie flipped through pictures of her old self and childhood family, and she savored the memories. Looking at the ring in the heated pot, she watched closely as it melted away, while speaking to herself out loud. I endured so much with you, Mother, as I did with my generous Uncle Francois and Stanley Swanson. With them, I found my true self in the breed. But what vexes me and cripples me now is that I found love and wonder in Gravakus. Few other than the breed and the Drakulis council know war is imminent.